Clinton campaign, though, back to that, fighting off FBI Director James Comey by releasing a letter. The letter is signed by nearly 100 former federal prosecutors and very high-ranking Department of Justice officials. And in this letter, the officials slammed James Comey, writing that, quote, his unprecedented decision to publicly comment on evidence in what may be an ongoing inquiry just 11 days before a presidential election leaves us all both astonished and perplexed. Peter Zeidenberg is one of the people who signed this letter. He's joining me now live in an exclusive interview here. He's a former assistant U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia and currently a white-collar crime lawyer. He's joining me now. And thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Zeidenberg. Why'd you sign the letter?
Signed the letter because I thought that the conduct of the decision by Director Comey to release the letter when he did on Friday before having looked at the emails in question was inappropriate.
Well, the letter you signed, and I read through it, it does not accuse James Comey specifically of partisan politics, but it does excoriate him for releasing this just a few days before the election and then not giving more detail. Would you feel better about it if we start to see some email detail released in the next couple of hours? Because the breaking news out of both Fox News and the New York Times is that the search and the sifting electronically of all these emails has now begun.
No, I wouldn't, because first of all, the letter specifically says that, you know, as former prosecutors, we have a great deal of respect for Jim Comey. So this is not an attack on his integrity in any way, shape, or form. It's a question about this particular decision to release that letter when he did. Releasing emails piecemeal is not going to, in my view, fix this problem. Criminal investigations are done in secret, under wraps for a reason. That's how a proper investigation is conducted. It's not conducted piecemeal in the public and then discussed on cable news.
Well, you know, and it broke exactly during the hour before this, or a couple of hours before our hour, but then all of the details about Anthony Weiner came dripping out. So what now do you think happens? You have defended white-collar criminals, and I'm sure there have been email trails in some of the cases that you have fought. How does this now proceed?
Well, it's a fairly tedious process, because even if you're using computer search terms to cull these emails, an analysis still has to be conducted to determine whether or not any of these emails contain classified information. And then that requires oftentimes interviews, because some of these emails may or may not be marked. They may or may not have been marked properly. And then an investigation further has to determine whether they were sent intentionally with an intent to break the law. And that is not going to get done in a week. There's
a lot of speculation that Director Comey did this to try and preserve what is left of his reputation, because some people have attacked him for having not recommended prosecution in this case. Do you see anything to that? I mean, why would he do this now? And is it simply because he feels like he was so embattled for not having been more aggressive the first time around?
You know, it would be speculation on my part to describe motives to why he did it. I certainly don't think he's fighting for his reputation. He has a reputation for integrity. I do think he was put on the defensive when he testified before Congress, and he may have felt constrained, as he says in his letter, to keep them apprised. I just think that it was premature. Once you know what's in the emails, he can make a determination. I think should have made a determination at that point if it was appropriate to make a public announcement. But doing so before you even know whether these emails are unique and haven't already been reviewed certainly strikes me as premature.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, sir. You've signed the letter, and we'll see what happens. Peter Zeidenberg, former assistant U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia and now a lawyer for Errant Fox. Thank you so much.